I'm going to preview the number 25 Baylor at number 3 Iowa State men's basketball game, which will be played on January 4th at 1 p.m. Central Time on CBS. Apologize if I'm looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. And if I do sound not 100%, it's because I'm a little hoarse, so I apologize for that. So I'm just going to make that mention up front. And one thing to note going into this game, I do not know the status of Jalen Celestine. He got hurt later in the second half with an apparent ankle injury. So we'll see about for Baylor. We'll see about him. And obviously, both of these teams are 1-0 in the conference, 11-1 for Iowa State. The only loss for Iowa State was to Auburn, and one of the best college basketball teams in the country. So not a bad loss. And Baylor is obviously not going into this game is 9-3 with losses to Gonzaga, which I know the Gonzaga's dropping off a bit since the start of the season where they've been at. Tennessee, one of the best teams in the country, and UConn. And UConn's been on a tear since that 3-game losing streak, as you could tell from a national perspective. So, and Iowa State did play the day before Baylor, as in December 30th, where they won 79-69 against Colorado at Colorado. And that's the second time they played Colorado. And the first time was in a neutral site, while Baylor defeated Utah 81-56. Though it was close at one point in the game, like 15-12 in the first half, but then Baylor went on a big tear, and Utah could not recover. And they could not do anything offensively in that game when you look at the percentages and watch the film. So now I'm going to go over players to keep an eye on for Iowa State. And I will say they are very balanced offensively. 6 double-digit scores in total. Then there's a big drop-off in terms of points per game once you look at the stats in the description below. Yeah, it's a big difference. Like, to be exact, almost 6 points. So, yeah. And it's normal to have like 8 or 9 guy rotation because the other guys on the team played like 5 games or less all year. And I'm not even going to mention all those guys. Just going to say that up front. So it's not disrespect, it's just actuality. So, and they do have 2 players that average 16.3 points per game. And that's Keyshawn Gilbert, number 10, 6'4", 200-pound guard as a senior. Then there's Curtis Jones, number 5, 6'4", 109-pound guard as a senior. Joshua Jefferson, number 2, 6'9", 240-pound forward as a junior. Then there's Momla Silovic, Momcilovic. Apologize if I butchered that. Then it's Deshaun Jackson, number 1, 6'11", 274-pound center. That's a senior. There's Taman Lipsey, number 3, 6'1", 200-pound guard. That's a junior. So that's the last of the double-digit scores. Then the next 3 guys I'm going to mention, 4.5 points per game or less. And granted, the last guy only played like 9 games all year. And he didn't play last game. But the other 2 guys did. And Nate Heise, or Heise, Haise, number 0, 6'5", 212-pound guard. That's a senior. And it's Branton Chatfield, number 33, 6'10", 260-pound forward as a senior as well. And one guy to make last on the mentions, if he does even play, is Nojas Indrasitis. Saitis. Apologize if I butchered that. And the first name, I spell it Nojus. So, as you could tell, some of these guys are not the best 3-point shooters in the world. Like Keyshawn Gilbert, he's not known for his 3-point shooting, while Curtis Jones is, and Milan is, you know. Lipsey isn't a great 3-point shooter either. And Nate from Iowa State is not a great shooter in terms of percentages this year. Actually, yeah, he's good at it. So 36.8% on 19 attempts. So it's more like a shooting role. And as you can tell, some guys are like Deshaun Gilbert, Branton. They're not 3-point shooters, and Joshua Jefferson not a 3-point shooter either. So it'll be interesting what Baylor does defensively. Now across the board, you got to make adjustments on the fly. I'm not just saying from first half to second half. I'm saying throughout the halves, timeout to timeout, possession by possession. Limit your foul trouble while getting them in foul trouble, and you got to adjust to the officiating. Because yes, it may be questionable at times, but you got to be the more mentally tougher team and make plays to win. Ultimately, out hustle Iowa State. Try to take the Iowa State crowd out of the game, and one of the best ways to do that is not to start slow. I mean, you can't start like you did against Gonzaga, Tennessee, St. John's, and I get Baylor beat St. John's. I get it. But you cannot put yourself in that predicament to begin with. And honestly, if you could start like you did last time on the road against UConn, that would be helpful. But I know Baylor lost that game, but there's a few circumstances to take in consideration. I mean, no VJ Edgecombe for the game, first of all. Second of all, Jeremy Roach was taken out of the game in the second half due to concussion protocol. And he's been out for a while until the last 2 games he's been playing. So that's definitely helpful. So you got all your guards going into this game. And who knows about Jalen Celestine, like I said. Maybe he'll play, maybe he won't. You got to be smart and about that, because the last thing you want to do is try to have like a Langston Love situation all over again with the ankle. I mean, bring him out too early. And hopefully it's not severe. Hopefully it's just like a mild thing. I don't know what it's going to be. But you get the whole point going into this game on the injury front. And I believe Iowa State does not have any injuries. I believe they don't. I looked it up prior. So now it's another thing across the board is you can't be intimidated by the other team or the crowd. You just can't. And you got to show like, hey, we're not going to back down to this team. And you have zero pressure on you going in this game. You're 1-0 in the Big 12, just like they are, but they're higher ranked. And you're not. I mean, you're number 25. Iowa State's number 3. And it's not impossible to go on the road in the Big 12 and win games. Case in point, look at Kansas yesterday. They lost to West Virginia, even though West Virginia got to Lawrence at 2 a.m. in the morning. And they played almost 12 hours later. Yeah, it's not impossible. So, you got to have belief in yourself. So, okay, now enough with the cross the board. Now, defensively, we'll see what Baylor does. They could go man-to-man. They could go zone or bring some pressure on. Obviously, you do not want to give up so many easy looks and going like in terms of like not contested shots. And if they hit shots with contest, okay. I mean, try to disrupt the rhythm offensively. I mean, whether it's like a pressure like you did against Utah and speed them up, you know, or what, you know, it's just one of those things. Or maybe they'll go to zone defense because there's not a ton of shooters in his zone. Contain the shooters, contain the slashers. Don't want to let the other team live at the free throw line. You got to limit those second chance points, and one of the best ways to do that is get defensive rebounds. I mean, that's just telling the truth. You got to limit the fast break points and the points in the paint as well, as much as you can in both of those areas. Now, obviously, you want to do a good job on side out of bounds and underneath your own basket on defending. In terms of like they're trying to score on you for the last shot here. You know, you got to do a good job in that situation. You got to be smart, like I said, with the fouling. because if you have a foul to give and you're up late in the game, it's a hypothetical situation. Not sure it's going to happen or not, but you're up late. You have like 4 or 5 team fouls. You do have a foul or two to give. You could give those if you need to, as long as it's not like a shooting foul, of course. And the last thing you want to do is foul on a jump shot. I mean, and you gotta create turnovers because it can help your offense at times. I mean, one of the best ways on offense in a game like this is get some points off turnovers. And of course, you want to limit those on defense. Get some points on turnovers offensively. Get some points in the paint, whether it's like a drive or Norchad O'Meara or Josh Uzuwuna finishes at the rim. I mean, just telling the truth. Or the guard, or it's like, yeah, get to the lane. You gotta have a good shot selection and make their shot selection hard. And you gotta do a little bit better job in late clock situations than you did last game. And one thing across the board too, correct what you did last game and bring it to this game. What you did right last game, bring it to this game. So another thing, offensively, take care of the ball. I don't care if the officiating's questionable. You gotta pretend as if you're not gonna get a call. I mean, just tell the truth. You gotta make your free throws count, which you did that against Utah. So that is a good thing. You gotta make those count, especially in a game like this if you want to try to pull off the upset on the road at that. You gotta stay calm, cool, and collected. And don't try to get technical fouls. That's another thing across the board. And obviously, if Iowa State does that, it's on them. Same thing goes for the coach. But point being, last thing you want to do is get in that situation and even get flagrant 1 or flagrant 2, obviously. You don't have like illegal screens or anything like that. But I know those are dead ball turnovers, but those can be really bad at times, like for the other team to get on the run and everything. And you can't have so many lulls offensively at times. I mean, you gotta be ball tough in this game. I mean, just telling the truth. You gotta get some offensive rebounds and then get some second chance points. I mean, that really would help in this type of game. So, you get the gist what I'm saying here. The pressure's really on Iowa State going into this game. They're at home. They're probably going to be favored. And I know right now, according to Matchup Predictor, they're favoring them right now. And look, it's rightfully so. They're one of the best teams in the country. They're at home. But it's not impossible to go on the road and win a game in conference. It's not impossible. Look at Kansas. They lost at home to West Virginia. I mean, even Texas Tech lost to UCF. But there's been other examples, not just in the Big 12, but nationally, that teams do lose at home, despite being the favored team in the game. So, and hopefully Jaden Nunn shoots the ball better. Same thing goes for Langston Love. He definitely needs to step up, especially if Jalen Celestine's not available for this type of game. And if Jalen Celestine plays, he needs to do his role. Josh Uzuwuna needs to do his role offensively and defensively, whether it's like rebounding or defense or screening. And if he could be a low post threat, that could really be helpful. And obviously, Norchad O'Meara needs to have a good game. Same thing goes for VJ Edgecombe, not just on offense, but on defense. I mean, he's one of those guys that can make plays on both ends of the floor. Jeremy Roach needs to step up, and he's used to these type of environments. And same thing goes for Norchad O'Meara. I mean, look at their careers where they've been in the ACC for the last. I mean, and I know Norchad O'Meara was at Arkansas State prior to that, but you get the point because the last 2 years we're at Miami, Florida. I think and hopefully Robert Riley has a good game off the bench, and he's been very impressive this year, despite being a true freshman. He's the future starting point guard, in my opinion, down the line. So, and hope and don't be intimidated by the environment. And let's go out there, give it our best shot, see what happens, and let's go to work, and let's not back down to these guys and make it their lives miserable as much as possible. So, anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 10 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So make money out this. Of course, like a video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithms so more people can see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button, read the notification bell as well. And this type of game could really help Baylor's resume if they could win it for the NCAA tournament down the line, and not just for rankings perspective, but the NCAA tournament seeding as well. So, I'm just saying, if you want to try to finish top 4 in the league, to get the double bye, you need to win some road games, and this is an opportunity here. Let's go out there and give our best shot. That's all I'm asking for.